After a period of pretending it didn't exist and asking people to politely not discuss it, Valve has finally, officially confirmed the existence of its first new game in years, Deadlock. Deadlock is a game that's still in early development. How early? I'm not sure, but what I do know based on what I've read and what I've played, I want to share with you in this video today. So what is Deadlock? Deadlock is a 6v6 multiplayer hero shooter. Kind of. It's definitely a shooter, it definitely has unique character abilities which make it a hero shooter, but it also has the traditional trappings of a MOBA, like lanes and creeps. So does that make it a MOBA?
What the hell are you?
The only thing the Steam page says as of the making of this video is Deadlock is still in early development stages with lots of temporary art and experimental gameplay. Is Deadlock the game that finally breathed some new life into the hero shooter genre? Let's find out right now. A lot of people, myself included, have severe burnout when it comes to the hero shooter genre. Or maybe it's simply that the games in the genre have grown stale and empty. Maybe people want more from this genre, like a fun game with a well-established IP full of well-known characters, or a game that still has passionate developers pouring their heart and soul into it with a MOBA twist. Basically anything that isn't Overwatch or Concord.
Poor little bugger.
So anyways, gameplay. In Deadlock, when you queue up for a game, you begin by selecting a roster of potential characters you'd like to play in the coming match. You can decide which character can be more of a priority on your roster. A neat little feature, to be sure. You see, in Deadlock, there are no mirror matches, which means there will not be two of the same characters in any match. With that in mind, the roster system begins to make more sense. Once your character is chosen for you from your roster, you are placed into a loading lobby where you can see your team and your opponent's team. Be polite and teabag to greet everybody. After everyone is ready to go, the match will begin. You are then thrown into a traditional looking MOBA map, except where other MOBAs only have 3 lanes, various paths between them, and a smattering of jungle camps, Deadlock has 4 lanes.
My God! Wow!
Like a traditional MOBA, creeps pour out of each side's base and attack any enemy within their respective paths. Last hitting these creeps awards the player with extra XP and currency to buy items. Deadlock again switches up this classic genre mechanic by having these troops transported to lane on a transit line that runs overhead along each lane. This transit system can be used by creeps and players alike and can span the length of the entire lane depending on who has control of the particular portion of lane. Deadlock's lanes have the traditional defenses on each side that each team has to destroy and push past to get into the enemy base to win the game by defeating the final obstacle. MOBAs have a well-defined system of play, but you can tell that Valve has tried to put their own unique spin on a lot of these systems. So far, from what I can tell, the uniqueness of these systems in Deadlock is refreshing and adds a little bit of pizzazz to the game. Each character comes equipped with a gun and a unique set of passive and activatable skills. Since both genres, hero shooter and MOBA, have been around for a very long time, it's no surprise most of these abilities will not be difficult to understand and will feel very familiar to those who have experience with these types of games. This guy's a fire dude. He does fire stuff. And he really reminds me of Agni from Smite, whose whole shtick is being a fire dude. This guy's a robot with a hook who punches people. Why does that sound familiar? Oh yeah, he reminds me of Blitzcrank, who's a robot that hooks people in and punches them. There's nothing game-changing about these characters or their powers, but that does not take away from their uniqueness or fun you'll have when playing them. Right now, and keep in mind, they want to emphasize that this is a super early playtest. There's nothing that immediately tells you what, if any, roles these characters fill in the game. Nothing that says this one's a tank or this one's a bruiser. You just kind of figure it out eventually who's who and what's what as you play the game. I don't know if this is intentional or, like I said, a product of how early in development this game is, but it's something to keep in mind. Maybe they don't want super strict roles like tank and DPS and support. Maybe they just want to keep it up to you. There are viable items in this game just like other MOBAs, but these too kind of suffer from ambiguity. They don't stand out. I have no idea if some of these help my build. Maybe that will just require some learning and getting used to the game, but for now, they don't stand out to me. Some build into bigger items, but half the time, I don't know what builds where. A really nifty feature of Deadlock is the ability to search up community builds right in the game itself. Finding a build that a lot of people have already tested and upvoted makes it a lot easier when you don't know builds or the direction you want to take your character in that particular game. This is a nice feature and takes away the need to find a build tutorial or guide on a third-party site. If you hit B, you can look for builds on top right menu. You can look for builds. Freaking Browse builds. Oh, Chrome's Rapid Haze. 85,000 likes. That's sick. It's a built-in build thingy. Mobile Fire, suck it. Other than that, building items in Deadlock is not great at this time. Why should I buy these items when I could save up for these other more expensive items that are probably more effective? I don't know, but to me, it seems this is another product of its early access, so take it with a grain of salt. Art style. The art style and design of Deadlock are very cartoonish in nature, something akin to Team Fortress 2. For those who loved the classic TF2 vibe, this could feel like a welcome throwback with a modern touch. While it may attract fans of that game, it will not be as eye-catching as some of the other entries into this genre. That is not a bad thing, by the way. The game's graphics do sort of pop out in a unique way while also being subtle enough to not be overwhelming. It's not as flashy as a game like Overwatch, but it still feels more visually enjoyable than a game like Valorant, at least for me anyways. This game also runs very smooth for a playtest this early in its development. I've said this before, but it is always a treat when I can run a game with little to no problems when I'm streaming, recording, and gaming at the same time. We love a well-optimized game in this day and age. Given Valve's history of successful games and successful competitive games, Deadlock has a lot of potential in the competitive and esports scene. This game could really be the next big thing in the gaming world. A lot of gaming industry veterans have been singing this, again, early access game's praises. I personally have been really searching for a game I can sink hours into and not get tired of it recently, and so far, nothing has filled that hole in my heart. Will this game do it? I don't know. It's too early to tell. Does it have potential? Absolutely it does. Valve, like From Software, is one of those gaming companies that I have not lost faith in and hasn't let the gaming community down so far. That being said, there's always the potential for it to let us down big time. It's less likely, but it is still a possibility. I have a bit of a background in MOBAs. I have sunk thousands of hours into Smite, I've played a decent amount of League of Legends, and when I picked up Deadlock for the first time the other day, and things just came naturally to me, in my head I thought, this might be the one. I might be able to grind this game and not get tired. And that was a nice feeling to have. Deadlock brings its own uniqueness to two very different genres and combines them rather nicely. Valve is a trusted entity in the gaming world. All the stars might align to give us something special with Deadlock. I think we should be excited about this one. Valve rarely disappoints, but until we see more, I'll be cautiously optimistic. Fingers crossed this one lives up to the hype. The game is still in early access and invite only, so it's probably way too early to tell, but with that being said, I'm looking forward to what Valve can do with this game. What are your thoughts on Deadlock? Have you tried it? Should we be excited? Is there hope for us gamers yet? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. As always, thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed the video, hit the like button. It really helps out the video and the channel. And if you want to see more content, smash that subscribe button. I really appreciate it, and I will see you guys next time.
You look like somebody who ate too much jalapeno.
You ain't got no shoes! That's sick. It's a built-in build thingy. Mobile Fire, suck it.
You know what mine is called?
What is it?
Sniper DPS sexy feet build.
There's no way, dude.